Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coins, the top 5 most valuable U.S. Jefferson nickel coins value in today's market. So let's get started. First up, the 2016 D Mint Mark Monticello Jefferson nickel may look like just another coin in your change, but for collectors and hobbyists, it can carry a bit more value than face value. This nickel is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, which first began in 1938. It features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the image of his home, Monticello, on the reverse. While billions of these coins are produced over the years, certain mint marks, years, and conditions can make a difference in how much collectors are willing to pay. Today, we will explore the background of the 2016 D Jefferson nickel, what makes it interesting, and its market value in good condition today. The D Mint mark means that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities for U.S. coinage. In 2016, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these nickels because the mintage was high. Most 2016 D nickels are still worth only their face value of 5 cents when found in circulated condition. However, coins that are in better condition, especially uncirculated or with high grading from professional services, can be worth more to collectors. Even in good condition, without heavy wear, they can fetch a modest premium from the right buyer. To understand why, it helps to know a little about how coin grading works. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Good condition usually means a grade somewhere in the lower teens. This indicates that while the coin has seen some circulation, the design is still clear and the details are visible. On a 2016 D Jefferson nickel in good condition, you can still easily make out Jefferson's facial features, hair details, and the steps of the Monticello building on the reverse. The surfaces may be worn, but the coin is still attractive and collectible for someone filling a Dayton Mint mark set. Collectors often focus on finding coins with sharp details, clean surfaces, and minimal damage. Even small scratches, nicks, or heavy discoloration can lower the value. On the flip side, coins that have been well preserved and show fewer signs of wear will always command more interest. While a 2016 D nickel in good condition is not considered rare, it can still be worth more than face value when sold to the right collector or included in a complete collection. In today's coin market, a 2016 D Jefferson nickel in good circulated condition typically sells for around 10 to 20 cents. That may not sound like much, but it is double to 4 times the face value, which is interesting considering how many of these coins are still in circulation. If the coin is in extremely fine condition or even uncirculated, the price can rise to 50 cents or more. High-grade mint state examples graded MS65 or above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sometimes sell for $1 to $3 or more, depending on the buyer's interest. The real jump in value comes from coins with special errors or varieties. Some 2016 D nickels may have minting mistakes like die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubled dies. These errors are relatively uncommon, but when they do appear, they can raise the value significantly, depending on the severity of the error. A 2016 D Jefferson nickel could be worth several dollars to even tens of dollars. This is why coin collectors always check both sides of the coin carefully under good lighting or even with a magnifying glass. For everyday collectors, pulling a clean 2016 D nickel out of change can still be a fun find. The Jefferson nickel series is affordable to collect, making it a popular choice for beginners. Filling an album with different dates and mint marks is a satisfying project. And the 2016 D is a modern example that fits right in. While most will remain worth only a small premium, the chance of finding a high-grade or error coin keeps the hunt exciting. When selling or buying a 2016 D nickel, the market value depends on several factors: overall condition, grading, any special errors, and where you are selling. Local coin shops often pay close to wholesale prices, which might be just above face value for common dates like this in circulated condition. Online marketplaces such as eBay can yield higher prices if you take good photos and describe the condition accurately, but you must also account for shipping and selling fees. Coin shows are another good venue where collectors might be willing to pay a premium for a particularly nice example. For those curious about whether to hold or sell their 2016 D Jefferson nickel, the decision comes down to personal preference. Because these coins are not rare, it is unlikely their value in good circulated condition will skyrocket in the near future. However, keeping a few nice examples, especially if they have sharp details and minimal wear, can be worthwhile for your collection. If you find an uncirculated roll of 2016 D nickels, it might be worth setting them aside for the future, as pristine examples will always be more desirable. In conclusion, while a 2016 D Monticello Jefferson nickel in good condition will not make you rich, it does have value beyond its face amount in certain cases. On average, in today's market, you can expect about 10 to 20 cents for a good condition example, with higher values possible for coins in better grades or with notable mint errors. the Jefferson nickel remains a staple in American coinage, and the 2016 D is a modern yet collectible piece of that history. Whether you keep it in your pocket, place it in your album, or list it for sale, it is a small but tangible reminder of the artistry and history behind everyday money. Next up, the 2008 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark, featuring the Monticello reverse, and we will talk about its background, its condition in the grade known as extra fine, and how much it is worth in the current coin market. The Jefferson nickel design has gone through a few changes over the years, but the Monticello building on the reverse remains one of the most iconic elements. Designed by Felix Schlag, this depiction of Thomas Jefferson's Virginia home has been on the reverse of most Jefferson nickels since their introduction, with only a few brief interruptions for special designs. In 2008, the United States Mint continued to strike the Jefferson nickel with the forward-facing portrait of Jefferson on the obverse and the classic Monticello on the reverse. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, which is denoted by the small letter P, located on the obverse side. Just to the right of Jefferson's bust, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels in 2008. So the coin is not rare in the sense of low mintage numbers. However, like with any circulating coin, the condition and specific characteristics can greatly influence its market value. Most 2008 P nickels that you might find in pocket change today will be having passed through many hands over the years. This is where the grading scale comes into play. The grade we are discussing here is extra fine, which is sometimes written as XF or EF. On the numismatic grading scale, extra fine refers to a coin that has seen only light circulation. The high points of the design will show some wear, but the overall details remain sharp and clear. On an extra fine 2008 P Jefferson nickel, you would expect to see Jefferson's hair details mostly visible, with only slight flattening on the highest parts. On the reverse, the Monticello building will still show crisp lines in the columns and roof, although there may be small signs of wear on the steps or central dome. The rims of the coin will be intact without major dents or nicks, and the fields, or flat areas, will show only moderate signs of handling. For collectors, extra fine condition is considered above average for a modern circulation coin, but not as desirable as uncirculated or mint state examples. Still, for coins that are not especially rare, an extra fine grade can be a sweet spot for collectors who want a nice example without paying a premium for a top-grade specimen. So what about the value of a 2008 P Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition today? Because this coin is relatively modern and was produced in large quantities, its base value is still close to its face value of 5 cents. In the open coin market, most examples in extra fine condition will retail for somewhere between 10 cents and 50 cents. Dealers often sell them at the lower end of that range if they have many in stock, and slightly higher if the coin has exceptional eye appeal or is part of a matched Dayton mint set. It is important to note that the real market for a 2008 P Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition is small, as most casual collectors are not seeking this date in circulated grades. That means that while a collector might value the coin at a quarter or more, it may not be easy to sell it at that price unless you find someone specifically looking for it. For bulk sales, such as rolls or large groups of extra fine nickels, dealers will often pay only a small premium over face value. There are exceptions that could raise the value above this range. For example, if a 2008 P nickel in extra fine condition also has a dramatic mint error, such as an off-center strike, die clash, or significant die crack, its value could rise into several dollars or more, depending on the error's uniqueness and visual appeal. Additionally, coins that are part of complete Dayton mint collections offered to beginner collectors might carry a higher price tag when sold as part of a set. One reason collectors still take interest in the 2008 Jefferson nickel is that it represents a continuation of the long-running series after the temporary westward journey nickels of 2004 and 2005. By 2006, the Mint had introduced the forward-facing Jefferson portrait, which remained in use in 2008, making it a modern but still historically connected issue. The P Mint mark also has its place in history, as Philadelphia is one of the original U.S. mints and has produced coins for over 2 centuries. For someone new to coin collecting, finding a 2008 P Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition is a good introduction to grading, as the wear patterns are easy to see and compare with higher or lower grades. It can also be an affordable way to start assembling a Jefferson nickel set by date and mint mark, without spending a large amount of money. In summary, while the 2008 P Monticello Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition is not considered rare or highly valuable, it does have modest worth above its face value, typically in the 10 to 50 cent range in today's market. Its real value for most people comes from its place in the history of American coinage, its design connection to Thomas Jefferson's home, and its accessibility for collectors at all levels. Whether you find one in pocket change or purchase one from a dealer, it can still be a satisfying addition to a collection. especially if you appreciate the subtle details of condition and design that distinguish an extra-fine coin from one that is heavily worn. Asterisk. Next up, the 2006 Jefferson nickel with the Monticello reverse design, minted in Denver and carrying the D Mint mark. While this coin is not considered rare in the traditional sense, it is an interesting piece to discuss, both for its design, history, and for understanding its value in the current coin market. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin originally featured a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and a view of Jefferson's home, Monticello, on the reverse. Over the years, the design has seen changes. In 2004 and 2005, the US Mint introduced a series of new reverse designs to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition. In 2006, the Mint returned to a design featuring Monticello, but with a newly updated portrait of Jefferson on the front. This updated design was created by Jamie Franke and features a forward-facing portrait of Jefferson, which was a significant change from the traditional profile view. The 2006 nickel was produced in large numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Denver Mint coins carry the D Mint mark, located on the obverse side near the date. In terms of mintage, the Denver facility produced hundreds of millions of these coins, which means they are still relatively common in circulation. Today, because of this high mintage, most 2006D Jefferson nickels in normal circulated condition are worth only their face value of 5 cents. However, some examples in exceptionally high grades, or those with certain errors, can command higher prices. When we talk about normal dirty condition in coin terms, we are referring to coins that have been in circulation for years, showing signs of wear, handling marks, and surface dirt. These coins are far from the pristine, uncirculated examples that collectors often seek. The wear typically affects the sharpness of Jefferson's hair, the clarity of the lettering, and the detail in the Monticello building. On a dirty, well-used coin, find details such as the lines on Monticello's dome or the texture in Jefferson's coat will be worn smooth. In today's market, the value of a 2006D Jefferson nickel in normal circulated condition is essentially 5 cents. Dealers and collectors do not pay a premium for common, worn examples because they are so easy to find. In fact, if you were to walk into a bank and withdraw a roll of nickels, there is a good chance you would find at least one 2006D coin. Its value over face value is negligible unless the coin has something unusual about it. That being said, some 2006D nickels with mint errors or in uncirculated condition can be worth more. For example, coins with die cracks, off-center strikes, or other noticeable minting flaws can sell for a few dollars or more, depending on the errors, size, and visibility. Likewise, an uncirculated 2006D nickel that has never been used and retains its original luster can be worth anywhere from 25 cents to $1 in today's market, with exceptionally high-grade examples certified by grading companies, sometimes reaching several dollars. For the average circulated dirty coin, there is no significant collector demand. Its true value lies in its role as a part of everyday commerce. However, it can still be an interesting coin for beginner collectors, particularly young hobbyists learning about U.S. coinage and mint marks. Having a 2006D nickel can also serve as a reference point when studying the changes in the Jefferson nickel design over the decades. Another factor to consider when thinking about coin value is the metal content. Jefferson nickels, made in 2006, like most modern nickels, are composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The melt value, or the value of the metal itself, is less than the coin's face value at current market prices. This means that, even if the coin were melted down, the metal would not be worth more than 5 cents. Therefore, its worth is tied almost entirely to its face value in any collector interest. If you are checking your change for valuable nickels, the best approach is to look for uncirculated examples, proof coins, or error coins. Proof coins from 2006 were made specifically for collectors and have a mirror-like finish, but they were not intended for circulation. Error coins are much less common and often require a trained eye to identify. These special coins are where the real value lies, sometimes reaching into the tens or even hundreds of dollars for major, dramatic minting mistakes. For the standard 2006D nickel that has been in circulation for years and shows obvious signs of where the coin's worth is going to remain at 5 cents for the foreseeable future. While this might be disappointing for those hoping to find a hidden treasure in their pocket change, it is a good reminder of how coin values are determined by rarity, condition, and demand. A coin with high mintage and heavy wear will almost always be valued at or near its face value, unless it has a special feature that sets it apart. In conclusion, the 2006D Monticello Jefferson nickel is a common modern coin that holds little monetary value in normal dirty condition, but it does have educational and historical interest. It marks the return to the classic Monticello design after the Westward Journey series, and it features a bold, forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson that stands out from previous designs. If you have one in your pocket, it is a nice example of modern U.S. coinage, but unless it is in uncirculated condition or has an error, it will be worth just 5 cents in today's market. Next up, the 2006 Jefferson nickel with the D Mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint, in extra fine condition. Although this coin is not as old as some other collectibles, certain factors such as condition, historical background, and collector demand give it a special place in the modern coin market. By the end of this video, you will understand why this coin can be valuable, what makes it stand out, and how much it is worth in today's market. The Jefferson nickel series has been part of US coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, designed originally by sculptor Felix Schlag. The series has gone through several changes over the decades. The Monticello design, featuring Thomas Jefferson's historic Virginia home on the reverse, is one of the most recognized designs in American coinage history. In 2006, after a brief redesign period between 2004 and 2005 to celebrate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, the Monticello design returned with some notable updates. This makes the 2006 Jefferson nickel significant, as it marks the first year of the new return to Monticello reverse design. The 2006 D Jefferson nickel was minted in Denver, one of the two primary U.S. mints producing circulating coinage. The D Mint mark can be found on the obverse, to the right of Jefferson's portrait. The obverse itself features a forward-facing image of Jefferson based on a Rembrandt Peale portrait from 1800. This was a change from the left-facing profile used in earlier decades. The reverse shows Monticello Jefferson's home, with more detail and sharper lines compared to pre-2004 designs. These small but important design adjustments appealed to both casual collectors and serious numismatists. When it comes to the condition of a coin, grading plays a huge role in determining value. The extra fine, or XF grade, indicates a coin that has seen moderate circulation but still retains sharp details. For the Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition, most of the high points on Jefferson's hair and face remain visible, and the steps of Monticello are still distinguishable. There may be slight wear on the highest points, but the coin still has an attractive overall appearance without major damage, corrosion, or deep scratches. In this condition, the coin has more collector appeal than average circulated examples, which are often heavily worn. Another factor influencing the value of a 2006 D Jefferson nickel is mintage numbers. In 2006, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. This means the coin is not rare in the traditional sense. However, condition scarcity is a real consideration. While millions were made, only a small percentage remain in well-preserved, extra-fine or higher grades after nearly 2 decades of circulation. Coins that have been handled carefully or stored in protective holders are the ones most likely to retain collectible value. Market demand for Jefferson nickels can vary depending on trends in coin collecting. Some collectors focus on building complete date and mint mark sets, which means they need a 2006 D to complete their series. Others specialize in high-quality examples of modern coins, including those with sharp strikes and minimal wear. For this reason, a 2006 D nickel in extra fine condition will have a modest premium above face value. While it may not be worth a fortune, its value lies in its role as part of a larger collection and its appeal to certain hobbyists. In today's coin market, a 2006 D Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition generally sells for around 20 cents to 50 cents. This is several times its face value, but still within an affordable range for most collectors. The value can increase slightly if the coin has exceptional eye appeal, a strong strike, or minimal contact marks. On the other hand, heavily worn or damaged examples are generally worth only face value. For those looking to sell such a coin, online auction sites, coin shops, or collector forums can be good venues, but prices may vary depending on buyer interest. At the time, that is also important to consider the difference between circulated extra fine coins and uncirculated examples. An uncirculated 2006 D Jefferson nickel with no signs of wear and full mint luster can be worth $1 to $2 or even more if it is certified by a professional grading service as being in a high mint state grade. While the extra fine condition is more affordable, it still has a solid place in the market for those who enjoy collecting coins that have a bit of history from actual circulation. Collectors should also be aware of possible varieties or errors. While the standard 2006 D nickel is common, any unusual minting errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks can significantly raise the value. Such errors in extra fine condition can fetch several dollars or more, depending on rarity and demand. This is why it is always a good idea to inspect coins carefully, possibly with a magnifying glass, to spot anything unusual. Preserving the value of a coin in extra fine condition requires proper handling. Coins should be stored in a dry, temperature-controlled Environment, preferably in protective holders that prevent direct contact with skin oils. Even a small amount of moisture or improper cleaning can reduce the grade and therefore the value. It is best never to clean a collectible coin, as cleaning can cause hairline scratches that lower its market appeal. While the 2006 Jefferson nickel may not seem like a high-value coin at first glance, it carries interest for collectors who value design history, condition quality, and completeness of a series. In extra fine condition, it stands out from the bulk of circulated examples and offers an affordable yet meaningful addition to a collection. Over time, as more coins wear out or are lost from circulation, even common modern issues in higher grades can gain more attention and value. In summary, the 2006 Jefferson nickel with the Monticello reverse design is a modern coin that marks an important point in U.S. coinage history. In extra fine condition, it typically holds a value of about 25 to 50 cents in today's market, depending on eye appeal and demand. Its worth lies not only in the monetary sense but in its place within the ongoing story of American coin design and collecting. For those who appreciate the combination of history, artistry, and preservation, this coin offers a small yet meaningful treasure from modern U.S. coinage. Next up, the 2007 Jefferson nickel with the PE mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint is a modern coin that still sparks interest among collectors, especially for those who focus on building complete date and mint mark sets. Today, we are going to take a close look at this particular coin in fine condition, its background, its design details, and its value in the current market. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of U.S. coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Over the decades, the design has seen some changes, but it has always honored Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. In 2006, a new obverse portrait of Jefferson was introduced, which is still in use today. This modern portrait is based on a Rembrandt Peale painting of Jefferson, and it shows him facing forward, giving the coin a more contemporary and personal feel. The 2007 Jefferson nickel with the PE mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 2007, millions of these coins were made for general circulation, so they are not rare in the way some older coins are. However, condition errors and collector demand can still give certain examples more value than their face value of 5 cents. The coin's composition in 2007 remained the same as most post-1946. Nickels, 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a weight of 5 grams and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. On the obverse of the 2007 nickel, we see the forward-facing portrait of Jefferson with the word Liberty in his handwriting style to the right, followed by the date 2007 and the mint mark P. Above Jefferson's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust." The reverse shows the Monticello building, Jefferson's famous Virginia home. The word Monticello is written below the building with the denomination 5 cents and the country name, United States of America, encircling the lower part. Above the image is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. When it comes to grading, fine condition means the coin has seen a good amount of circulation, but still retains all its major details. On a fine grade Jefferson nickel, Jefferson's portrait will be worn, with some flattening on the hair and cheek, but all the main lettering and design elements remain clear and readable. On the reverse, Monticello will still be fully outlined, though details like the steps and some of the finer architectural lines will be worn down. Because the 2007p nickel is a modern coin with a high mintage, its value in fine condition is generally modest. Most circulated examples trade for close to face value, around 5 cents, in bulk quantities. However, individual sales to collectors can bring a small premium, often in the range of 10 to 25 cents if sold to someone filling a specific date and mint mark slot in a collection. In most cases, the value increase comes not from a typical circulated coin, but from examples in higher grades, such as uncirculated, or from coins with errors. Error coins from the 2007p nickel series can include off-center strikes, die cracks, die clashes, or coins struck on the wrong planchette. These can be worth several dollars to potentially more than $20, depending on the error type and condition. If your coin is a standard fine-grade example, without any error, its value in today's market will typically remain close to its face value. Collectors looking for better examples usually seek coins in mint state condition, graded MS65 or higher, which can bring $1 to several dollars each. While the coin may not hold a high market value in fine condition, it still has value as part of a complete Jefferson nickel set. Many collectors enjoy building collections that span every year, and mint mark and modern coins like the 2007p are necessary to complete those sets. For young or new collectors, coins like this are also an inexpensive and accessible way to learn about coin collecting, grading, and U.S. history. The broader market for Jefferson nickels shows that only certain dates and mint marks carry substantial premiums, such as early dates from the 1930s and 1940s in high grade, or low mintage issues. War nickels from 1942 to 1945, which contain silver, are also more valuable than face value. Even in circulated grades, modern dates, including the 2007P, generally remain affordable, unless they are in pristine, uncirculated condition or have unique errors. In summary, the 2007 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark in fine condition is not considered a rare or high-value coin in the numismatic market. In today's market, its value is typically around 5 cents, perhaps slightly more. If sold to a collector looking for that exact date and mint mark, the real appeal of this coin lies in its place within the broader history of the Jefferson nickel series, its connection to Thomas Jefferson and Monticello, and its role in modern U.S. coinage. For someone just getting started in coin collecting, it represents an easy and affordable way to own a piece of American history. Even though a fine condition 2007P Jefferson nickel may not bring in significant profit if sold, it can still be a coin worth holding on to, especially if you are building a complete collection. Who knows, future shifts in collector demand or changes in mintage trends could make today's common coins more sought after. For now, its main value is educational, historical, and sentimental. Coins like this remind us that collecting is not always about high-dollar items, but about the enjoyment of learning, the appreciation of design, and the satisfaction of completing a set. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you in next time. Happy collecting!